This next one's a bit of a heartbreaker for me. Little Jones here. Keep me company. The Simpsons. Those of you who don't know me, I wrote for the Simpsons comics. I love the Simpsons, or I did. For many years, I would watch the Simpsons religiously, sometimes two, three times a day. I'd have it on the TV in the background. It was the soundtrack of my life for many years. I love quoting The Simpsons. I love watching The Simpsons. I can't watch The Simpsons anymore because they've, in my view, become too partisan. You know, it saddens me to say that. And now we've got yet another doubling down here. You know, it was bad enough when in the Family Guy episode where Peter Griffin fights Trump. At the end of it, they're saved by Justin Trudeau on a Segway. Doesn't age well. It wasn't funny. And now you got the Simpsons basically like encouraging people to vote a certain way. And hate to say it, but I'll just say it. You're on the wrong side of history. You're just on the wrong side of history. People will look back on this time period. They will look back on how the establishment rallied every single resource against Trump they could muster at every level, including the culture. And it still didn't work. And in fact, it just emboldened people. I gave up The Simpsons. It was a tough give. You know, it was bad enough I had to delete my Blizzard account for the card game that was based on World of Warcraft. I forget what it was called now. But I've given up a lot of stuff over the last few years because, well, quite frankly, I've got a moral compass that I think is right. And to be this partisan, this blatantly, you know, it's killing comedy. The partisanship is killing comedy and entertainment. Look at the movie industry. It's almost dead. It's almost dead. Now, this kind of stuff, it just saddens me. But there is hope. Here's Jane Lynch attacking whining little A boy Lindsey Graham during Barrett SCOTUS hearing. I don't know if Jane Lynch, is she even from South Carolina? Let me see. Jane Lynch. Is she from South Carolina? Born in Illinois. So I don't know why she's getting so up in arms about who the people of South Carolina decide to represent them. You know, again, Jane Lynch, I was a fan, you know, back in the days when she was on, what was it, Best in Show, was all in that crew. And she's talented, but it's just stuff like this that's so disheartening because it's so many self-righteous people. They just know they're right. They just know it. They just feel it in their hearts because Trump's such a jerk. Therefore, they can't be wrong, even though they were wrong before. But the tide is turning. California University spends $800,000 trying to shut down a satirical student newspaper, fails. Ends up paying $12,000 for the lawsuit, but like $150,000 in lawyers' fees. And this was just a joke issue. This is in San Diego, University of California in San Diego. And they did a joke about safe spaces, saying, you know, the college was building a dangerous space or an unsafe space or something. Pretty funny. I mean, for the time, that was, you know, right on point. They went on to sue. You know, this is from November of 2015. It all started. They sued in 2016. They recently got a judgment. According to public records, requests by the Foundation for Individual Rights in Education, a First Amendment advocacy group, the University of California had spent an additional $317 on its own lawyers and lost. They had to pay $12,000 and then $150,000 in their attorney's fees. They just got the money. It was a 4-year legal battle. All those students are out of the college. They've all graduated by now. If speech ain't free, it'll cost the taxpayers and tuition-paying students a pretty penny. What are these colleges going to learn? They're going to have to learn. Trump's got to cut their money off. Jimmy Kimmel mocks Trump for holding rallies that could potentially infect his supporters. Kimmel mocked Trump's Coronapalooza tour and called him Spready Krueger. You know, it's just tiresome, Jimmy. You used to have hot chicks on trampolines, jumping up and down on trampolines in bikinis. Now you make puns on late night TV. Okay. Corona in chief. That kind of stuff. I guess, I mean, Trump doesn't have the virus anymore. And if anything, he's now more immune to it than most people because he has the antibodies. But, I don't think science is really the strong suit of a lot of these people. And, it's when will you go back to just promoting movies? Oh, right, there are no movies. TV shows, celebrities, doing fun stuff. I don't watch your show, but I mean, you used to do fun stuff. I turned it on for the clip when you had Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd do Back to the Future on the show. That was fun. This constant attacking of Trump, it's not brave. It's not stunning. What would be stunning and brave is if you actually came out and A, either didn't do it, or B, gave us your real thoughts on this. But, I mean, and I don't think, what you're doing is your real thoughts. I think, really, probably behind the scenes, you're hoping for that sweet, sweet tax break. Maybe not. But I think this partisan rhetoric is killing comedy, and you're not being fair. You weren't doing this kind of stuff during the Barack Obama years. I think your writers lazily depend upon the same sort of writers, and I know why they do it, because I wrote for Bill Maher, and they wanted us to use the most general newspapers as possible, because they thought that would be the broadest audience base to work with. But now it just doesn't work. People don't read newspapers. People get stuff off the internet, and that goes like this. You can't keep up with it. Not on a late night show. Even if I get the joke in the morning, by 4 o'clock, it's dead. You're taping the show doesn't go on until nighttime. By that time, the joke is dead. So it's not the way to do it anymore. You can't beat people to the punch on TV anymore. You could try. Maybe once in a while you succeed, but more often you can't beat the internet on speed. People on Reddit know things that are happening before anybody, before reporters, before the president, anybody. The other day, when RBG died, Trump came off a plane. He didn't even know she was dead yet. That's how fast the information flows. And this pile on with Trump, it's got to end, man. It's just got to end. And when he becomes popular in his second term, and I believe he will, you're going to slowly turn the boat around. And how are all your old shows going to age? Not very well, I imagine. Not very well. But there's hope because, people are turning the boat around. Here's Sean Ono Lennon mocking the Portland statue vandals. He sarcastically suggested writers might not have gone far enough in trying to right humanity's past wrongs. The pyramids of Giza were made under coercion from evil pharaohs who were not very woke. I think we can all agree the pyramids should be torn down immediately. Yes, that was a joke we did in Wokistan, a novel. He goes on. Since the invasion of Britain by Emperor Julius Caesar in 55 BC, Italy has remained definitely silent. I think it's time Italy was held accountable. It's funny. It's because he's educated. He kind of knows some history. But, you know, the Twitterati don't care. Yet. Oh, when the trend dies and goes the other way, oh, they'll all be on for this. Then it'll be like, ooh, let's make fun of some woke people. And here was a shocker today, and a real big, sign that things may be turning around. Trump administration thanks Ice Cube for assisting in developing the Platinum Plan. This was Trump's plan to help the black community. And I am as shocked as you that Ice Cube was involved. In a now viral tweet, Trump campaign senior advisor Katrina Pearson thanked hip-hop icon Ice Cube for assisting and helping President Trump develop the Platinum Plan, which reportedly includes a $500 billion package for the black community from the Republicans. That's crazy. On Sunday, Cube released a video revealing that he has met with both Republicans and Democrats, stating that no president in the entire history of this country has ever done right by black people. Ice Cube, who boasts his nonpartisan involvement, saying he's not siding with Democrats after a host of other black entertainers have endorsed Biden and Kamala Harris. Well, I can respect that. After seeing you do those kids' movies, Ice Cube, I gotta say, I had lost a ton of respect for you. But it's regrowing. The Platinum Plan, which is a 4-year plan, $500 billion strategies to increase access capital in the black communities by almost $500 billion, creating 3 million new jobs for the black community, creating 500,000 new black-owned businesses. So, yeah, I mean, why wouldn't he be in favor of this? Why wouldn't black Americans say, okay, great. So, and look, I'm sure he's going to get blasted, but there are a lot of figures in the black community that are turning it around, and they are very much, I mean, he's a hip-hop icon, right? I mean, they just said it in Source magazine. That's a place where they talk about this kind of stuff. And good for him for doing this. Good for him for trying to work with Democrats and Republicans. That was an important distinction he made in that. I also know he's probably trying to hide who he's going to vote for. Sounds like to me he's not going to vote for Biden. So, but good for him, man. Coming out and doing something positive, trying to work with the president. Kanye did it. You got Officer Tatum and Candace Owens. This is why the black community is ready to throw the Democrats overboard and give something else a try. And Trump is being, he's negotiating. He negotiates. This is why the Democrats are so stupid for going up against him. He is willing to negotiate. He's willing to give you something. But not if you're going to be, completely obstinate. You have to acknowledge that he's winning at least. At least acknowledge that he won the 2016 election. But you can't. And that's ego. And that's, you're going to pay for that. But, this to me is a sign that things are turning. And I think in Trump's second term, you're really going to see people come around and say, you know what? Trump, we were really wrong about you. You really turned this country around. You really did some good things. And, they are negotiating possibly a historic peace treaty between Lebanon and Israel right now. That would just be mind-blowing if that goes through. It may have already gone through by the time you watch the end of this video. Trump has accomplishments, and man, he struggles just to be heard. It's time. You know, and with CNN, even Wolf Blitzer sort of turning on Nancy Pelosi, maybe everything's just going to flip towards Trump now, which has its own problems. So, you know, I'm sure we're going to have some issues when it all goes the other way and it goes too far. But right now, you know, in this crazy year, I think this is what we need. We need more of a balance, and things have gone so far left and so far off the rails. We need to pull it back towards the middle. And when this election is over, I believe it will come back towards the middle, and things will be much better. And people will, to a great extent, have people like Trump to thank for it. And now Ice Cube and a few other figures who dared to support Trump despite their careers, despite the Twitterati, despite the absolute vitriol that people throw at any kind of Trump support, even just defending Trump a little. I get it. Just defending Trump, I get blasted. So, good for you, Ice Cube. Now do some more cool movies. No more of the kid stuff, please.